I will not be a party to letting the President down. So I am offering my resignation here and now to you, my dear colleagues.
Speaker Allan Cayetano, marami pa tayong haharapin. Marami pa tayong problema na dapat ayusin. And so with that, I move to reject the offer of resignation of Speaker Allan Cayetano. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Kagaya po ni Congressman Mike Defensor, ako po ay pumapangalawa sa kanyang motion ng objection sa panukala ni Speaker Cayetano na bakantehin ang posisyon bilang Speaker.
Those who want a change of leadership should object now. Because if not, this motion is also in support of the leadership of Speaker Allan Cayetano.
This may be my last speech as Speaker, so I brought 2 books. First is the Bible. And greetings, assalamualaikum sa mga kapatid natin Muslim. Allow me lang just to profess my faith. And I'd like to remind us that the moral compass, we are all tourists here on this earth. Diba? So what does it gain us if we gain the world but lose our soul in the process? Hindi ako magkakapit tukol sa posisyon na to. Diba? No, nor will I abandon it. Diba? I will fight for you guys. Diba? But you have to say what you want and how you want it. But this will, hopefully, despite my humanity, pagkakamali ko, kasalanan ko, I ask the Lord to always allow me to turn from my wicked ways. This is the Bible na hawak ko. Second book I brought is something special that I want to put in a museum soon. Is the Treaty of Paris. This is an 1899 copy of the Treaty of Paris. During this time na maliit na yung mundo, pero marami tayong problema sa ating territory. This is a time where we have to be friends with the West, but also have to remember the evils of colonialism. This is the time where we have to remember that what makes us humans is human rights. But we also have to remember that we should not weaponize human rights. This book is a good reminder. Ang taong hindi na marunong lumingon sa kanyang pinanggalingan ay may stiff neck. Ay hindi makakarating sa kanyang paruroonan. Alam ko kung saan ako nanggaling. Municipal Councilor of Taguig, Vice Mayor of Taguig, Congressman of the Lone District of Taguig, Ordinary Citizen Allan, Law Student Allan, Attorney Allan, Senator Allan, Secretary Allan, Congressman Allan again, and then with your help, Speaker Allan. So today, I'd like to thank you, each one of you. Di ako namimili. Whether you're for me or against me from the start until now, nag-contribute kayo. And I'm thankful for that. Maraming salamat sa inyo. This situation at yung ginawa ng grupo ni Congressman Velasco kagabi makes it impossible for me to finish the budget in time to help the country really recover. Magkakagulo lang kung hanggang October 14, tapos ganyan ang mangyayari. No? I hope to be able to see the President personally to also explain to him. Congressman Velasco told the President that he is ready. Then I think the best time for him to prove it is now. Gusto mo ng September 30? Sige. If our colleagues want you today, ikaw na. Let him show that he can pass the budget on time. But more than that, let him show that it will be a great budget. A budget that all of us will be proud of. I've worked hard to make this Congress a Congress that our colleagues, our families can be proud of. I will not be a party to letting the President down. So I am offering my resignation here and now to you, my dear colleagues. My faith and the faith of the 2021 budget and the faith of the leadership of the House is in your hands. Please, don't vote on party lines. Don't accept or deny because of positions or what the President may say, what I might think. Bumoto kayo sa akin o hindi, tanggapin nyo man o hindi, you are my friends and colleagues. We will have to struggle together. So in the end, in your conscience, you have to decide what kind of budget and who will lead you to that budget. And if you say it's neither me nor Kong Velasco, I have a couple of names. Pero personally na lang yung tanong sa akin because this is a house, the 18th Congress, that has transformed from the House of Representatives to the House of the People. And I am proud of it. God bless the Philippine Congress. Salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Mr. Speaker.
What's the pleasure of the gentleman from Anakalusugang Party List?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Apologies to the Honorable Speaker Allan Cayetano. Pasensya na po, Speaker Allan, but I object to your offer of resignation. Naintindihan ko na may nakikita kayong bad faith batay doon sa inyong speech, Mr. Speaker, na sinasabi ninyo supposedly ang announcement ay manggagaling sa inyo, sa inyong opisina ngayong araw. Pero tama din po kayo dahil sa kagabi pa lamang, marami na po mga nagpo-post ukol po doon sa pagsasabi na nagkaroon na ng palitan at ito daw po ay direktiba ng ating Pangulo. Pangalawa, Mr. Speaker, I would just like to remind you, with all due respect, that you are not an appointee of this Congress. Inelect po kayo ng 266, 266 na mga kasama natin, labas po. So, umigit ko mo lang 300 kasama dito sa Kongreso. So, the responsibility, Mr. Speaker, is not just to the President. May responsibilidad po kayo sa mga kasamahan ninyong bumoto at nakisama sa inyong liderato dito sa ating Kongreso. Pangalawa, Mr. Speaker, I hate to say this, you said that you are indispensable and that this Congress can function with a co-pilot. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. Yung napagkaisan yung dati with your gentleman's agreement, iba po ang sirkumstansya at kalagayan natin sa ngayon. Sa ngayon po, ang ating bansa, ang ating Kongreso, ay nasa isang barko na dumadaan sa ilalim ng bagyo. We have not passed the storm. We are still traversing the ocean. Marami pa ho tayong problema ang kinakaharap. Marami pa ho tayong problema na dapat sagutin para sa ating ekonomiya, mga sagutin pangkalusugan na kailangan natin gawin. And as you have mentioned, I did not campaign for you. At that time, I was with candidate Martin Romualdez. But throughout the months, na-navigate niyo po ang Kongreso sa pagdaan natin sa COVID. Bayanihan Part 1. Yung pong pagpapaayos natin sa Social Amelioration Program, ginawa din po natin yan. Yung ABS-CBN, andito po si Congressman Marcoleta. Napakahirap na ibalanse ang mga programa at problemang pambansa at ang mga pangangailangan sa pagharap sa pandemya ng COVID na hinarap natin at patuloy na hinaharap. So I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, sa gitna ng bagyong to, dapat mo bang pinapalitan ang iyong kapitan na isinagawa niya ang pagsasaayos na paglakbay ng ating Kongreso at ng ating bayan? Mr. Speaker, Speaker Allan Cayetano, marami pa tayong haharapin. Marami pa tayong problema na dapat ayusin. And so with that, I move to reject the offer of resignation of Speaker Allan Cayetano.
Mr.
I so
Speaker.
move, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, What's the may pleasure? recognize the Honorable Jonathan Alvarado.
maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Kagaya po ni Congressman Mike Defensor, ako po ay pumapangalawa sa kanyang motion ng objection sa panukala ni Speaker Cayetano na bakantehin ang posisyon bilang Speaker.
There's a motion to reject his offer of resignation, and there's a second to the motion. Any objection?
Mr. Speaker, may I remind our colleagues, those who want a change of leadership should object now. Because if not, this motion is also in support of the leadership of Speaker Allan Cayetano.
There is a motion to reject the offer of resignation of Speaker Allan Cayetano and duly seconded. Those who are in favor to reject the motion, the motion to reject the resignation of Speaker Allan Cayetano, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who are against, please say nay. The ayes have it. The plenary decided to reject the offer of resignation of Speaker Allan Cayetano.
Mr. Speaker,
What's the pleasure of the gentleman from Kalusugan Party List?
to
Honorable
provide,
Mike Defensor.
thank you, Mr. Speaker, with the indulgence of my colleagues, to provide a clear outcome on the rejection of the members of the Honorable Speaker's offer of resignation, I move to call for nominal voting. The motion to reject the offer of the Honorable Speaker to resign from his position. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second,
To call
Mr.
for
Speaker.
nominal voting. Any second?
Parliamentary inquiry,
Second, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
What's the parliamentary inquiry?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the chair has ruled and has asked the members of Congress whether there was any objection on the motion being pushed by Congressman Defensor. And there was no objection that was recorded. Not even in the Zoom conference, Mr. Speaker. So there is no need already to move for a nominal voting because the mere fact that there was no objection simply tells this House that they are all in support of the leadership of no less than our Speaker, Allan Peter Cayetano. That's all, Mr. Speaker.
I will give the gentleman from Kalusugan Party List to have a rebuttal to the parliamentary inquiry of Honorable Ace Barbers.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the call for a nominal voting, I understand, Mr. Speaker, does not require an objection from the floor. But I agree with the Honorable Barbers. If that is the case, then we have a unanimous vote, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Speaker. But I leave it to the wisdom of the Speaker on the call for a nominal voting. But with that, Mr. Speaker, because the Honorable Barbers has been a friend of mine since 20 years ago when we were in Congress, here in the House, for which, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Duterte, then Congressman Rudy Duterte, also resigned, which was rejected by the House. Mr. Speaker, I call for a suspension of the session.